Yes, it's his first meeting ever in the White House. And, he's been in many Israeli governments, but he's never been in the White House. He's certainly never been in the Oval Office. And so it's an extraordinary moment for him. I think it's a fulfillment of life's ambition. But he's got his hands full. And he's got his hands full also internally, domestically, of course, in Israel. His former supporters, I say former supporters, people who look to him to be the leader of the Israeli light right and the really hard right, want to see him resist efforts of the Biden administration to limit the amount of Jewish building, Israeli building in Judea and Samaria and East Jerusalem, to limit Israel's ability to demolish the houses of Palestinian terrorists. And they're looking to him to stop the Biden administration's intentions of renewing the 2015 Iran nuclear deal. So there's a lot going on there. For Biden, no less, I think the big challenge this week is Afghanistan. Yes, Afghanistan is the big issue, but it's not just that. The entire world is watching this meeting. Why? It's the Germans, it's the Japanese, it's the South Koreans, it's the Taiwanese, it's the Ukrainians, all of America's allies who depend on America's strength have watched what's happened in Afghanistan over the last week and a half, and they're terrified. So here's a moment an opportunity that President Biden has to reassure America's allies around the world, look, we are standing with our allies. And look, with our most important ally in the Middle East, the state of Israel, we're standing very firm. So this is going to be a very good meeting. It's going to have a lot of good photo ops, a lot of handshakes. Usually there's an hour left, an hour that is earmarked for the one-on-one meeting, what they call the four-eye meeting in Hebrew. For some reason, it's a bad word for people who wear glasses. A four-eyed meeting. I'm willing to bet my boots it's going to go on for 2 hours.
Well, we're certainly going to be watching to see exactly what does come out of that. But it's interesting that you raise Afghanistan. Of course, that is the priority for the U.S. right now. But given your experience in relations between Washington and Jerusalem, give us an idea of what's going on behind the handshakes, behind the photo ops as you describe it, behind the scenes. What meetings are going down right now? So
what happens right now, besides all the sidebar meetings, a lot of sidebar meetings at the State Department at different levels, with the CIA, with the Pentagon. But the main meeting is the 1+6 or the 1.8. What does it mean? The principal is the 1. That's the prime minister and the president. And then they have their entourage, which is either 4, 5, 6, 8. And there's, of course, an incredible amount of bickering in politics. Who gets to be among the 6 and the 8? And then they have lunch. And they discuss things very casually. Usually, there have been some very substantive meetings around the 1.6 and 8. And then the 2 principals adjourn to the Oval Office. The lunch is usually held in the Lincoln Room or in the Roosevelt Room, lovely rooms under the big portrait of Abe Lincoln. Israelis will comment that the decor of the White House are pictures of Native Americans and buffalo. And they will say, wait a minute, why are they decorating their house with all the things they killed? We don't get this. It's the difference in culture. And then the 2 will adjourn to this very significant meeting. I said it will probably go on 2 hours. And then they invite the press in. They invite the 6 and the 8 in. Everyone goes into the Oval Office. Everyone stands there in crowds around. They invite the press in. There'll be questions from the Israeli press, usually very good with the Israeli press. And there'll be statements. And sometimes the statements have been very controversial. Some of them remember the famous or infamous lecture that Netanyahu gave to Obama on the Palestinian issue, and the chief of staff came over to me and said, is your boss in the habit of lecturing people in their own living rooms? That was the line I got. So that could also be a source of controversy. It will not be. I think it's all going to be very friendly, very supportive. I think it has to. I think the president will reiterate America's support for the 2-state solution. Naftali Bennett will not.
Right.
He just will not. He'll just ignore it. He may say, listen, we're committed to peace. We're committed to renewing negotiations, but he won't say 2 states.
Right. And
they'll talk about Iran. And I think the Iranian issue, if you want me to go on about this, is a much bigger issue. But I think you want to pause.